Hey you guys, it is Gigi here of the Vibes of Light. I'm coming to you with another reading. And so let's see. You guys asked for this one. This is Lori Harvey's read on Michael B. Jordan, and we'll see if he comes up as well. And I would love to do this. Okay, so I've been wanting to say Lori B. Jordan, so there must be something going on already. Lori B. Jordan. It's crazy. But wanting to lower this chair. Let me get myself situated. There we go. All right, sorry, y'all. I might, in case I do not edit all this out of this video because of complication, my pardons. Okay. So let me see. Let me just do a quick clearing. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's how she's kind of showing up. So, okay, I mean, this is her energy here, but I figured I would pull his energy too. It seems like super negative. It's kind of strange. All right, so let's just see. What is going on? Lori Harvey. Okay. See what these are. All right, so Lori is it's clear here that Lori likes her independence as much as she does stay like in relationships. This is why she kind of doesn't stay in anything too long as well, because I think that she actually kind of low-key has a disdain for men. At the same time, she likes them, but she also has a disdain for them. She doesn't like, at the end of the day, and I think this is something she's coming to confront within herself, is this thing where women have to do all of these sort of displays and tricks and the hands and the nails and the flat stomach. And I'm not saying it's nothing wrong with looking good and all this, but all that and all of this twisting and contorting, and you still can't even keep a man. And I think she's just kind of like, just kind of disgusted. I think also, like her upbringing as well, like it's problematic. I feel like it's not sustainable. I'm not trying to launch an attack on her parents or anything like that, but I'm just reading the cards here. With the way she's had to contort and conform in this thing that's called maintaining a sustainable relationship, maintaining sustainable economics. Um, on the other hand, right now, it feels like she and Michael B. Jordan are kind of at I don't want to say like an impasse, but at a state of a standoff a little bit. He's kind of like, his attitude is like, you know what, I'm coming with it, I'm coming correct. I have everything in line, all my ducks in a row to offer you a relationship, and I'm not gonna go all out for this as well. Um, because there's this thing about her as well where she is excuse me, she is like really right now viewed as she's really viewed as popular, as wanted, as as her own celebrity in her own right. And I mean, the both of them know the celebrity person and the real person are two different people. But at the same time, too, it's interesting because these two are mirroring each other. It's interesting. So they do have a good connection, but they also mirror each other's standoffishness toward the opposite sex. And that's what's happening here. And it feels like a lot of it is oh, Michael B. Jordan's mother comes through strong here, although a very nice woman as well. But I kind of want to focus on Lori and Michael B. Jordan at the moment. So there's an issue here as well where there is mother's influence. And I wonder why for a moment. So there is this side of Lori again that is like standoffish, not reachable. And it's the reason why she gets bored. I think if she's able to do away with these principles of I think if she's able to do away with these personal principles with the way you have to get a man and do all this contorting and be all great in bed and do you got to freak, or just whatever that kind of energy is coming out. Although I don't really see her as this overly sexual, heifer, as they would say, or something like that. Like I don't see her that way, but I just see this standard, this template of being raised like that, and plus the social stuff, sort of imposing itself in her own mind. And she's just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to catch him. I don't want to do all this contortions to keep him. Like I just don't want to do it. I can't stand it. I can't stand, she's been idolized and she's been placed on a pedestal by men for the sake of, wow, for the sake of display, for the sake of their own fulfilling their own empty spaces, their own ego. So there is this thing, she also has issues with her father to begin with, like, just starting with that. So although I think this is a healthy and good relationship, like a good connection overall, I just feel like the both of them kind of mirror each other in this. I don't know what Michael B. Jordan's thing is, but we know that he kind of tends to stay single-ish in a way. I did a reading on him a long time ago. If you guys want to see that, that was pretty interesting. Um, and it was with he and Naomi Osaka at the time. I feel like Naomi Osaka, who is a professional tennis player, I feel like in a lot of ways, to an extent, like she would be more of a match with him, Michael B. Jordan. Um, there's just a lot less pressure and expectation. You know, Lori expects certain levels of performance, because not because she's an awful person, but because she's been raised this way and this is the checklist. But I don't want to make her sound like actually she's not as, I think people can start to judge her, and we don't know her, but start to judge her as like this girl who's looking for, I don't know, like a relationship with monetary sort of comforts and, high monetary comforts and all this. She also herself is like, what am I looking for? What is going on? And so it's very interesting. I think actually, she's having a little bit of I don't know why the term spiritual consensus comes up or whatever. I don't even know if that's like a real sort of term, but she is like she's putting together all of her upbringing, all of her thoughts, and all of the data. So I feel like these two are kind of taking a little time apart, even though you may see them together here and there, like they're a little emotionally distant from each other. But I think what really prompts her spiritual development in this is actually how Michael B. Jordan shows up as real husband material. Like he literally shows up as the husband. So, I mean, it's really up to her. Personally, where she is, I think I just think that there's a little more development because I think also, with her upbringing and just with these other cards as well, with her upbringing, it's like she's also been raised to look at the men as the only open door. And you know what? She's actually creative. She hasn't had a chance, in my opinion, to really strike out on her own creativity, her own because actually she's a boss. Like right now she's not in that way because she's in another consciousness that she's been raised out of, but um yeah, I just really think that the way Michael B. Jordan shows up, and he's so down to earth, like he doesn't put on airs. um he really stands as sort of like, what would you call that? Like almost like a North Star, but I didn't want to say North Star. I wanted to say like a truth, not a truth serum, but like a beacon of truth. That would be more like it, like a beacon of truth as she goes through all of the things that she's been taught, and those things and those templates need to go away. She'll begin to have a little less frustration because then she'll be able to reclaim her voice, knowing that her voice is not only to be expressed through a relationship with a man. This is what this seems like to me, like, because she actually has a real voice, and she, can really get herself into running her own empire, her own business. I think she's kind of into fashion or something like that. Hmm. I think she likes competition. She likes to compete, but also like I think she's having issues with her mother right now. Like, I think she's had a couple of fights with her mother. I think that there's a lot of pressure between the two of them, pressure from the mother. But I think a mother comes from a different school, a different time, and stuff like that. And I just think that this is a portion of time where Lori will be growing, um, knowing that maybe her mother's philosophy, because look at how her mother shows up. You could kind of see how a woman like Lori's mother would come to this type of survival or stages, is how to be with a man, how to act with a man, and all of these things that she's fed into her daughter. But the times have actually changed. And so this template that her mother has, it kind of made sense for the time that she was functioning in, but it doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable in this time. It's not promoting well-being for Lori. In fact, it keeps her in a lot of constant leaving relationships as she does. But here with the death card, the very first card that comes out, like she's contemplating even leaving this relationship, but she's not going to do it. I mean, not at least at this point in time. I do see them actually being able to subsist through this, and then at the very least being friends. I think there'll be times and periods where they'll pull back and kind of just be more on a friendship level, but she's bored overall. She's bored and she's stuck overall. As much as you may see her slaying in the streets, or whatever, she is very bored with this lifestyle. And so, if she were my client, I would literally say to her to begin to give your own voice a chance, to let your own voice breathe, to let your own creativity breathe, and begin to really create and begin to really hear the voices and the feelings inside of the things you want to do. I mean, it also feels like, I don't know where she lives, but it also feels like in a way she may want to live in New York City or something like that. And I mean, she should go and spend time doing that and not worry about a relationship ending or anything like that, because as soon as she starts opening and activating that energy, the man she's dating, which is this guy right here, Michael B. Jordan, he will make arrangements to work around her passion as well. They won't see each other as much, but he would make arrangements. Like, he's a really good guy. At the end of the day, I don't know if this relationship will last really long or anything like that, but I do know that he is a part of her greatest development. I'm not sure that she's a wonderful girl and all, but I think with the where she is in life, I'm not sure that she's actually enough for him and what he needs. And it's hard to please him anyway. And we kind of know that because he's always been like kind of single, never really committing to anybody. But I think that also triggers her as well, even though, wow, she's with Michael B. Jordan, one of the most coveted guys, one of our princes in the Black community. And it's like, wow, I'm in another relationship. Okay. Yeah, this is okay. And it's not him per se, it's just the whole template. It's the whole thing of fitting in. It's the whole thing of Ma having that snap back and having that, I don't know. The whole thing of women are expected to do look good in every moment and all times. And then the value of themselves are constantly placed on how men view them, like, and other people view them. And she's tired of it, but I think it's starting to become really conscious now, and she's beginning to notice the difference between checking out of the relationship and checking out of these principles that are so tired for her. So there's a lot going on for her. It's very interesting, but I think right now she hasn't responded too much to him, which has caused him to kind of check out as well. But I do think that they actually do have something nice going on. I have to see. I'll see. I don't know overall, and if in the end that she is, where she is in life might be enough enough for what he actually needs, the type of assistance he needs to come out of his own sort of refusal for intimacy, because they both kind of have that. Again, this is why she goes from relationship to relationship with this death card here twice, actually, and in two different decks. She goes, she stays in limbo, indecision, and indecision here. Meanwhile, her mother's really pressuring her over this particular relationship. And I think it also hurts her because I feel like I don't want to talk too bad about her mother or anything like that. I just feel like her mother, it seems based on these cards, because I don't know her mother, but that the way that she looks at men is almost inhuman. It's almost as a vehicle. This is what's going to get you there. This is what's going to take care of you. This is what's going to provide for you. This. It's not necessarily a person. And I think her mother inadvertently hurt her feelings because of the way that she may have inhumanly referred to Michael B. Jordan. It's not that she dislikes Michael B. Jordan. It's not that she doesn't respect Michael B. Jordan. It's that this woman is from a different time. This woman understands what it is to be without and this despair. And she just wants her daughter to be okay. But she gets lost in translation because she's lost in that template of hers. So I do think that she and her mother are at odds at the moment. And yeah, but meanwhile, so Michael B. Jordan, sorry, because I'm getting inundated with some other information here. So I got a little tongue tied, but Michael B. Jordan is in the middle of a really big offer, and I think it takes place in filming somewhere overseas for a little while. And Lori, meanwhile, is going through a really big phase between herself. It's like part of her mother is within herself, but part of this wanting to be herself because she's not that girl. I think she's the girl at the end of the day who would like to put on flats instead of high heels, cute little ballerina flats and some jeans and be okay. I'm not saying that she doesn't like to dress up or anything like that, but just kind of be more of an around the way girl, just a little bit. Sometimes not be caught up in all of this because I feel like she's been at the top of this and she's also experienced so much fierce competition to be in the position that she has with some of the boyfriends that she has had. I think particularly Diddy. And it's almost like, she comes in and out of consciousness like going, okay, what is this for? What are we fighting over for? Who gets to make him smile bigger because their ass has the most curve or what? I mean, what is this stupid shit? Like I just really feel all of that's coming up for her. I feel Michael B. Jordan is a much different person. I feel like he could totally show up for her. I feel like he also at the same time has his own issues with intimacy, but that he would be willing to unlock himself for her one at a time. But at the same time, I feel like because I don't know, I think she's younger than him, but I just feel like eventually she may not be enough intellectually because her mind and not because of who she personally is or is not, but because she is emotionally, energetically tied up in this template and she hasn't released her own individualism, who she personally really is. Not Lori Harvey, Lori Harvey, not that Lori, but Lori. So let's see. I want to leave this way. I do think that they do stay together, though. I do think that they do stay together, for a while, and it hasn't been determined yet. But I do the one thing that I do think about this relationship, although I do feel like he could use for more in a way, a little more, I wanna say substance. I don't wanna say she's somebody who actually doesn't have substance, but she's just, you know, not fully unleashed in that area yet. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful toward her. Because she's actually amazing. Obviously, people really, really like her. So I do want, just in case she's like watching this video, um, people really like her. But I think she will be an unbelievably powerful force, and that the world is waiting for her personally to reveal her personal self, her personal power self. And I think when she goes actually into herself, she might not even be interested in him anymore. Um, she might, her whole attraction to certain people will change because her motivation and her motive, I don't want to say motivation because it's not, I don't see in here that she's really has terrible motives or anything like that. She just knows to get kind of the best for herself. And it's even more so like just putting myself in the line with the right people. It's not like, oh, getting him and this and that. It's not that energy in here. So I don't see her as this terrible. I don't see her as a gold digger or anything like that. I just see her always shooting to put herself in the best light possible. Um So yeah, I mean, I really do. If I were to tell her, I think that she should travel a lot more. I think that she should do it on her own. I think she should go. I honestly feel like she should go live in Paris for a year or even London, maybe even Rome or something. She should travel around and she should, drive across Europe and just have a nice time. Because that also seems like something she want to do. But I think Paris would actually be good for her. Actually, I think staying over there for a bit would be really good for her because I really feel like she just also like the Queen of England at times, like wanting to just take your freaking shoes off, wanting to not have to wear heels, wanting to just be allowed to be yourself and not fitting into this awful plastic doll template. And I'm not saying that she's a plastic doll, but it just feels like, like what is all this for? You know, what is where is all this getting me? What's going on? Like, you know, so here is the reason why with these cards, doubt and blame, these were the energies of Michael B. Jordan, and now I could kind of see why he's in doubt and in blame. I think he just looks at her as having pulled back. Um, I think if she doesn't trust him over something, you know, and I think that she confuses like his individuality. They're like the same person in a lot of ways, but I think his individuality and kind of needing to be alone and whatever triggers her to think that there's somebody else and there's this and that. And so she pulled back. She kind of didn't take his calls for a little bit. And then yeah, there's just a lot going on in their relationship. It looked to me like this totally looks like her. I feel like there's a lot for her to clean up. It's not the traditional meaning of this card, but this reminds me of her actually. That reminds me in an energy that reminds me of her. And so yeah, I mean she just also has this template, and you'll notice again, this is very interesting. This is her mother's template. They kind of mirror each other too. This thing about men not being able to show up. And it was true for her mother. It was true, it's true in a lot of ways, but it's not true for Lori. She's got a good person in here. She's got someone who will be faithful to her, actually, and she needs to get out of all of this, but she also needs to personally, I mean, for her own fulfillment, develop herself. And I really would suggest that she's so young as well. I feel like go live in Paris, girl. let Lori Harvey is my client. Go live in Paris for a while. Let him come visit you over there. He's good. Michael B. Jordan ain't going nowhere. And I don't mean it like that, but he's not like the guy who needs a girl. This he's like mad low key. It's not showing up in here. Usually the cards will catch that, but also I don't dig too hard, but I showed that he would support Lori. In whatever she wanted to do, even if she moved to like another city, because there's like businesses that she wants. I do keep getting this thing of fashion that she wants to kind of get into, but I really would urge her to dig deeper, because there are also things that Lori likes to do that are not as I don't want to say pretentious, but just a little more down to earth in a lot of ways. So she's stuck. I just feel like, there may be things like her even going to the library and chilling and finding out different stuff. I don't even know why. She might possibly watch anime. I'm not sure, but just really enjoying like a simplistic portion kind of life, and just being able to, and even more so if it's not exactly that, it's just about her being able to be herself. Like, maybe she even wants to take off her hair, like extensions and stuff like that, and just be a certain way. And I feel like maybe her mother doesn't allow her to do that as well. So there's a lot going on here, but I do think overall, how he shows up for her is very, very faithful. I think they're happy when they are together. I mean, there's this really simplistic thing to the both of them, but there's this lack of trust, because she's got a lot to process from her upbringing, from the people that she's been with in the industry as well. I do see her as like overall generally nice and a nice girl. I don't see any real. I think sometimes the way that she places herself, a little bit of the energy feels a little gold diggerish, but it's like so small that she does not come across that way in the cards. It's like social climber, gold digger type deal. And I really think I think her mother has really good intentions. It's just her mother has one purpose: for her to be taken care of for life, and but her mother only provides this door of it being through a man. And so it has closed off a lot of Lori's personal creativity, and like her creativity is mutating like through the template of that. Okay, well, I'm on somebody's arm charm. She's like, what is this about? It's only fun. It's only fun for a certain amount of time. So she's like, what is this about? So I really do feel like, you know, that as well. I think also they do have to contend with, they don't seem to have a problem with it, but do have to also contend with, just the social media and the paparazzi. And I think, there may be in a couple of blogs, or there may be a couple of something that came up where it may have been rumored that he's like with somebody else or picture with somebody else, but he's not. I mean, he is so not into all of that. He's not into all of that, but I think she feels that he's sort of cut off emotionally, but it's a lot of her own triggers more than it is so him. All right, so let's just see. I mean, what are his feelings for her? I mean, he's serious about it. I feel like he's like willing to just cut off anything and make it all clear for the entire world. Yeah, for the entire world, for them to be together. In a lot of ways, even though I feel like I was saying that eventually she may, because of where she is, she may not eventually be full substance of what he needs, only because she hasn't unleashed her full self. But she is very likable. She is very powerful. Something very likable about her. personality, her spirit, her being, her beingness. And when she's able to step out of this template and create on her own, she's going to be a boss, let me tell you. I do think I would say, Lori, go ahead, move to Paris, let Michael B. Jordan continue like doing his thing, and you guys just see each other from there. Because something big is actually coming through. There may be something going on in Dubai too. I don't know why I hear that. And I just feel like it's a really good time for you to get in some new energies. And I think that Paris is a really good place for you. It's a super urban and there's a lot going on and it's a different world. I mean, but I feel like you already kind of know this. This is why you've been checking out. Like I would literally say, pack up and go to Paris and go live there and get involved, go to school, learn learn a little bit more about what you want to learn about, and even if it's like agriculture or learning how to be a nail technician. I'm not saying to be a nail technician, but there is something with you going to school being a very helpful skill in order for you to do bigger things. So, whatever your inner urgings are to do that. Because yeah, I mean, this whole society thing, with this whole energy, it feels like it feels like the energy is she's constantly kind of dealing with these guys, except for Michael B. Jordan, is kind of like love and hip hop energy where all the women are around, they're beautiful, great looking women, but they're fighting all the time, looking crazy, and it's the only thing that Black women can actually really seem to get real time TV coverage on without having to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. So I just really feel like there's that whole energy she wants to break out of. There's getting her mother straight that she's going to be okay. There's this individuality thing that she wants and needs to do. But she's already so very likable, but she needs to fulfill these things for herself. And then Michael B. Jordan will actually be around for her. Not that I'm saying he has nothing better to do, not in case he's watching this, but that's really true. It's not to say that he doesn't have anything better to do, but he's already in a space where a lot of people don't get him, can't reach him emotionally, don't pique his interest. So, I mean, you've got his interest. There's a possibility for a great relationship there for sure. I mean, the Four of Wands are here under him. I think he secretly is like, yeah, I mean, I love to build a future and explore building a future, off in a distance. I think he looks at marriage. So, it's up to you to get out of all of that Diddy shit. Sorry, Diddy, I love you, but that Diddy shit, I don't care, Diddy. Get out of that, get out of that Diddy mentality with all the women and the man who can't settle down and the this and the that and you got a real one here. But I would say go move to Paris. I would literally tell Lori Harvey to do that. Move to Paris. And the answer is not for everybody to move to Paris, but the answer is to me, based on these cards, for her, move to Paris, start a life, go to school, learn to paint, do whatever. Believe me, those things may seem menial, but you are going to be able to build an amazing brand out of what you learn. But also this educational thing that you're called for to do is also helpful in your development to realize what you ultimately want to do. So it's a very helpful process, and he will meet you anywhere you go. He will fly anywhere you go, and the time apart that you guys have is fine for him. He's not going to be like looking for somebody else. All right, so that is your reading, guys, on Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan. That was actually a good reading. I'm really glad to see that Lori is not going to be like, I don't know, like because Michael B. Jordan, he's like one of our princes. Let me say, I know he's a king, but I'm just saying, like, he's one of our sweet princes. Denzel is still king and emperor, and all of our older guys. So Michael B. Jordan is like one of our future kings. So I just feel like, that's a clean dude. Please do not. He ain't no Diddy. I'm sorry. I love you, Diddy. I'm giving Diddy like a hard time. He ain't no Diddy and he ain't no Future, and all of this Trey Songs. And I love sexy Trey Songs, but I'm just saying, Trey Songs, everybody could get it. So anyway, that's the reading, guys, and have a good one. Bye. All right, so that's out. Thank you.